In my past couple of videos, I've talked about two different ways of capturing your best ideas and jotting down your quick notes. Number one is the digital format, and that is using a phone, a tablet, or a laptop. And number two is the physical or stationary format with a good old notebook and pen. But for today's video, instead of choosing a specific side of the argument, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of each. What is up? My name is Eric. I am a photographer and filmmaker that is now on the journey of helping you to create better content through writing and through video. If you'd like to follow along, feel free to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. So let's start with the digital. We can all relate to the digital side of work, play, and communication, but for this video, I want to talk about idea generation, journaling, and note-taking specifically. What are the pros and cons of doing these specific activities on a digital device? Let's start with the pros. Number one would have to be accessibility. No matter who you are, it is very likely that you are constantly carrying around your phone, no matter where you're at throughout the day. Our smartphones hardly ever leave our side. This, of course, has its cons, but it also has its pros for this specific reason. Whenever you want to capture a quick idea, a quick note, a to-do list, or a grocery list, you have your phone right there in your pocket or in your purse, whatever it might be, so that you can write that thing down. Number two would have to be speed, and it kind of goes along with the same lines of accessibility, but it's very easy and very manageable to pull out your phone and to either write down a quick note, type it into an app that you have, or to talk to text and save that thing for later. Most people are able to type very quickly into their phone and therefore are able to write down a quick note even faster. Number three would be cloud access. Arguably, one of the greatest benefits of having your notes and ideas stored digitally is you can access them any and everywhere. Depending on what app or format you use, most of these modern platforms allow you to access your notes across any of your devices. This, of course, means that if you write down a quick note on your phone, you can then access that thing later on a laptop or a tablet and expand upon that idea further. And this is mostly how my personal workflow goes, is I will take my phone, write down a quick note on it throughout the day or when I'm on a walk or whatever it might be. And then I expand upon that idea further through an iPad or a laptop where I write about it in a longer writing session. Obviously, cloud access is not exactly a feature for your favorite notebook. So the three main pros of writing your notes down digitally would be accessibility, speed, and cloud access. But of course, there are some cons involved as well. Number one is distractions. Every time that you pull out your phone to take a quick note, there are going to be several different barriers that you have to get through in order to complete that task. For example, how many times do you pull out your phone each day with the intentions to search something up online or to write down a quick note, only to find yourself 30 minutes later scrolling on social media, wondering why you pulled out your phone in the first place? I can definitely relate to this one, and I'm assuming you can as well. This is a major con to digital note-taking, because when you have a great idea, the last thing you want to do is get distracted by something that is a lot less important. Number two is safety. Although it's easy to access your digital notes across multiple devices, it's also easy to lose these things in the busyness of the digital world. And then along with the safety aspect, at what point are our digital notes safe from being shared, erased, or just lost completely? The ease of accessing all of your notes across the cloud is super nice, but finding a platform that hosts all of your ideas, journals, and documents in a safe and secure place is always a bit of a gamble. So that wraps up the digital note-taking side. Now let's go on to the one that has stood the test of time. And that is the good old notebook and pen. A lot of purists argue that you can't beat the feel of pen and paper, and oftentimes I would have to agree with them. Where did you first begin writing? Where did you first begin drawing? Where did you draw your first picture, write your first words? We can all relate to the nostalgic and timeless feel of pen and paper. A few of the typical forms of physical note-taking would have to be notebooks, post-it notes, pocket notebooks, journals, planners, to-do lists, and really the list goes on and on. It has stood the test of time for good reason. It is simply satisfying and practical. But just like the digital side of things, pen and paper also has pros and cons. Let's discuss what some of those are. The first pro to using a physical notebook would have to be availability. A major upside to using pen and paper is that it is available anywhere, anytime, in whatever way that you wish. You You don't have to charge it, change it, download any software, and you don't have to keep up with the latest trends. It is ready whenever you are. Number 2 is customization. Unlike digital note-taking apps, you can customize your pen and paper however the heck you want. Half of the page might be a journal, and then the other half might consist of a grocery list, a doodle of your favorite cat, and maybe a list of the books you want to read. You certainly don't have to be tech savvy in order to use your favorite notebook in whatever way that you wish. There's no learning curve, updates, changes, or confusion. It's just simply you, your notebook, and whatever ideas come to mind. Number 3 is satisfaction. It goes without saying that there's just something special about writing something down by hand. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you're probably taking all your notes on a digital format, and I guess that's okay too. Number 4 is memory and learning. Research shows that it's pretty clear that writing something down by hand is better for both memory and learning. And with that, the speed of writing something down by hand is drastically different than typing it out, and therefore it might help you if you kind of process information too fast or have a hard time kind of documenting the details to write something down with pen and paper, because it forces you to slow down and be present and just remember each thing that you write. And number 5 is an honorable mention, and that would be heirlooms. Each thing that you write down by hand becomes an heirloom with time. Have you ever come across a written note from, say, a family member or a loved one that is now passed? That thing instantly becomes so special because it is so unique to them. That is an extremely special thing that no digital note will ever compare to. Each person's handwriting has nuance, uniqueness, and creativity because no two handwritings are the same. That is something that's so special about writing things down by hand because nobody can replicate it and it is unique to you. Generations may pass, but your physical documents will stand the test of time, allowing generations to take a peek into the past. That is pretty darn cool if you ask me. And then there's also cons of physical note-taking. And number 1 would have to be durability. Like anything physical, the strength and longevity of a physical notebook is going to degrade with time, especially if it's exposed to the elements of any kind or has especially strong wear and tear. And along with this, a natural disaster or misplacement may lose your ideas and your documents forever. One way to combat this is to take photos of your finished notebooks or even midway through, so that way you know you have a digital version, a digital photo of each of your physical notebooks that can be around for much longer. Number 2 would have to be speed and fatigue. Writing by hand for long periods of time is exhausting. For example, writing 1,000 words with a pen and paper versus typing 1,000 words is going to be drastically different. Not to mention it would take much longer and your hand would probably be cramping by the time you got to 1,000 words. Whereas if you're typing 1,000 words, it takes a brisk 30 to 60 minutes and hopefully your hands are feeling just fine. If you want to write for efficiency, digital is going to be your best bet. And then number 3 would be handwriting. Handwriting is certainly not for everyone. Some people love penmanship and other people just plain hate it. If your handwriting isn't the best, it may be difficult for you and especially others to read the things that you wrote down by hand. And I guess that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Deciding which note-taking format is best for you ultimately comes down to personal preference. I have found that a mix of both is the perfect sweet spot for me. I love notebooks and writing things down by hand, but the speed and efficiency of typing things digitally is most practical for me for work. The good news is this: whether you write things down physically or digitally, you're much better off than the person who never documents anything. We are all vessels for sharing what matters most to us, and writing things down is a fantastic way of doing that. So I'll leave you with this. I would encourage you to pick up your favorite notebook, to open a new digital document, and just begin writing. What flows forth from your creativity is what matters most. If you're interested in finding clarity through writing and journal prompts, I do have an 8-day email course called the Content Clarity Crash Course. There's a link in the description if you'd like to sign up. And then I also have a few different resources down there, including my video creation template if you are a digital creator. And then I also have my weekly newsletter called the Stoke Seminar, where I send an encouraging email each Saturday. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Eric. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.